Hiya! I am today 1 month postpartum, so let's talk about it. This 1 month postpartum period has been an experience. I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot, cried a lot, and I wouldn't have it any other way though. So let's talk about the time I came home from the hospital. So when you're at the hospital, no matter how you gave birth, you will bleed and bleed and bleed because you gave birth, you had a placenta, your placenta detached or got taken out, whichever way you delivered, and you have a wound the size of a dinner plate left. So your muscles are contracting that uterus to bring it down, and in that process you're bleeding as well. So I am proud to say that I have finally stopped needing pads because I have finally stopped bleeding for the most part. Yay. So when you're in postpartum, you just given birth, whether you're vaginal or delivered, C-section wise, you get mesh underwear in this long pad, and it's to collect all the blood, and then you also get a peri bottle and some Tux pads, which I used every bit of that. I also, even before I gave birth, I ordered a postpartum kit, which is, if people are familiar with Freedom Mom, they have a postpartum kit. I ordered a kit called Groansy, and I personally like that better. Their peri bottle is amazing, and I wouldn't have it any other way, but it came with cooling pads, which are like the version of their Tux pads, and a cooling witch hazel spray, which I still use, and they had mesh underwear, and what else did it come with? In the peri bottle. It didn't come with any pads, but I used a lot of the pads I got from the hospital. And then somebody gave me some leftover Freedom Mom ones, and I used those. So highly recommend getting some more, because you never know. And I even used the pin underwear, the disposable underwear at night. That saved me a lot of heartache from changing so much. Yes. So that was that nether region. I did have a tear, so the peri bottle did come in handy because I couldn't really wipe. I could only dab. And I also had a hemorrhoid, so I had stool softener, and I'm still taking stool softener. It's still a little sore down there, so, and no, I have not looked, so, well, I think I looked once, but I couldn't really see much, so, because it was still kind of swollen, so, couldn't really see much down there, and I'm glad I haven't, but I did look up what a secondary tear looks like, and I wish I had it. Anywho. So there's the bleeding part. You also might have swelling, which I did not swell during postpartum. I mean, not during postpartum, during my pregnancy, but after postpartum, I was swelling. My ankles blew up and my feet blew up, and it was weird. But always look at your discharge papers to make sure your swelling is adequate. Obviously, if one is swelling more than the other, like a big amount, obviously go to your doctor. So yeah, look out for clots that are bigger than an egg size or bigger. Didn't have any clots like that. I've had like some dime size clots, but that's about it. So there's that, the swelling, the bleeding. Talk about emotional, getting hot was another thing that I had, but I think the emotional aspect also had to help with sleep deprivation. That's a thing. Yeah. So when you have a newborn, that first week is interesting, needless to say, because your baby has to eat every 2 to 3 hours, and so, which leads me to talk about my breastfeeding journey. Breastfeeding, like I've said in my previous video about my birth story, breastfeeding is natural, but it's not easy, and went through a lot of mom guilt when my baby was not getting enough. She was sleeping while she was latching. I also had to use a nipple shield, which saved me because my nipples were not acting right and she couldn't really latch on good with them. Now it's a different story. So my baby ended up getting jaundice. Well, your baby does have jaundice, but there's usually when they're born, and jaundice is called by bilirubin, which is something in the blood that your body will expel through pee or poop, and she wasn't getting enough to eat through my breastfeeding alone, so she ended up getting more jaundice at a certain level to where she needed light therapy, and I had to supplement formula along with trying to get her to eat more. So I started pumping and supplementing formula to make sure she was getting her food that she needed, and then working on doing the breast as well. That was very sad because I thought I was doing something wrong, but it ended up working out to where I learned to make sure she was staying up during feedings, make sure she wasn't feeding long, and supplementing. So it all worked out. So now she's basically on breast milk, and she eats from my boob still. So, and her latch is a lot better, and she doesn't sleep during her feeding. Like, she's actively suckling and not stopping. So just stay with it if you really want to do it. It's just a lot of hard work though. And when you're breastfeeding, you are also extremely hungry and extremely thirsty. So apple juice and orange juice and midnight granola cereal saves me all the time. And eating nutritious food, not just junk food, because what you eat, your baby is eating. So keep that in mind. But yeah, there was a time during breastfeeding that I quit with the breast for a little bit because I was frustrated, and I just wanted to make sure she was eating because fed is best. And so not too long ago, like a couple weeks ago, I started feeding her from my breasts again, but at nighttime, in the middle of the night, and in the morning because it's more relaxing. And during the day, she gets her pumped bottles. So, and with all that being said, since my baby had jaundice, I was keeping track of how much she was eating ounce-wise and how much she was nursing and how much diapers she was having, which is if she's getting a lot of diapers, then that means baby is getting enough food. So just FYI, and I'll put the link of the app that I used, which is a free app, and I highly recommend it. Highly. I think it's called Baby Tracker, I think, but I'll put it right here. So let's see, anything else that I'd like to talk about? Oh, sleep deprivation is a thing because you're waking up 3 to 3 hours. That first week was interesting. My husband, thank the Lord, what helps with postpartum is your partner or your community of people, if you don't have a partner, helping. And needless to say, I had a bunch of people that brought us food. My aunt brought us food, my mom made us food, like going out, getting food brought to us was also nice. Prepping food was good. I pretty much ate all our soups that we did for the first week or two, I believe. And yeah, that was very helpful, I will say. So make sure you have some meals prepped. Or you can always do takeout if that's your thing, or delivery. But, you know, and if people want to help, take their offer. But yeah, my husband, lifesaver. He did feel very useless when I was just breastfeeding, so he couldn't really help with the feeding during that time, but now he does because she also does bottle. But yeah, sleep deprivation. There was one night because when a baby is gonna go through a lot of diapers. I can't remember exactly, but at least 8 to 10 diapers. It's pretty 8 to 12 really is pretty good now. So there was one night where she pooped, and we were like, okay, we're gonna change her. And we changed her, she pooped again, and then we changed her, and then she pooped again, and we about lost our shit. Like, my husband and I fell on the floor laughing and crying because we were so tired, and we just went through 3 diapers because she was pooping. So yeah, there's gonna be times, and there'll be times where she pees on you in the night. There's gonna be times where she might spit up. It's just a very learning curve, and you got to figure out the schedule of eating. And I was feeding on demand. I still am, but it's more of a scheduled feed on demand now, because I kind of can figure out when she gets hungry and when she gets put down to bed. The sleeping, in due time, it'll get better, I promise. They say make it to 6 to 8 weeks, and she's 5 weeks today. So yeah, it's gonna get better. They said just make it to 8 weeks. They say 6 to 8 weeks is when the crying starts, like, picking up. So I haven't experienced that yet, but I'll let you know how that goes. But she's being more active, and it's so good to see her, like, growing and gaining weight. So I'm pretty proud of me and my husband's creation. So yeah, but the emotional part, I will say, there's highs and lows. So just take one day at a time, and just remember that baby is only little for so long, and all those things are just temporary, and it will get better with time. So that's pretty much my postpartum so far. Yeah, I go to my 6-week appointment soon. Hopefully everything's good. I assume everything's good. But back to the breastfeeding, because I don't think I touched up on this. Watch out for engorgement. If you notice your baby's not draining its boobies, maybe you need to pump, or she needs to drain the one boob before you go to the other. So yeah, I had a little bit of engorgement, but not enough to be like, ow, pain. I usually pump every 3 hours, every 3 to 4. But with sleeping, she's sleeping longer stretches throughout the night, so 4+ hours at night, and it's actually pretty nice. But it did freak me out a little bit at first, because I was like, ugh. Is she breathing? But yeah, fun stuff. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. And I'm Emily Ruth, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day.